So, you got an old gaming PC just kind of sitting in a corner collecting dust? A lot of home lab projects are fun, but they feel more like tinkering just for the sake of it. What if you could take that forgotten hardware and turn it into something genuinely useful, a powerful and completely private AI assistant that you'd actually use every single day? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do.
All right, so here's the game plan for this explainer. First, we're going to talk about that old hardware. Then, we'll get into why you'd even want to run your own AI in the first place. We'll hit a pre-flight checklist for your gear, then we'll actually build the thing, step by step. And finally, we'll look at the real-world payoff, which is, trust me, pretty incredible.
You know how it is, a lot of these projects for old PCs end up being cool experiments that you just abandon? Yeah, turning it into a network storage box is practical, sure, but what we're talking about here offers a level of daily, hands-on usefulness that's in a completely different league.
So let's just start with a question that probably hits pretty close to home for a lot of us tinkerers. Is that old rig, the one that used to be the heart of your whole setup, is it just sitting there? I'm telling you, it has so much more potential than you think, and we are about to unlock it.
Okay, so you might be thinking, why go through all this trouble when there are powerful cloud services just a click away? And that's a fair question, but the reasons are actually super compelling, especially if you're someone who cares about privacy and having control over your own stuff.
Let's just break down the big advantages of running your own large language model, or LLM. Number one, and this is a game changer, privacy. All your personal notes, your code, whatever you're working on, it stays right here on your network. You are not feeding some massive corporate model. Plus, you get to completely sidestep those monthly subscription fees by using hardware you already own. And maybe the best part for any of us who like to tinker, you have total control. You can swap out models, tweak performance, and tune it exactly how you want.
All right, let's get into what you actually need. You might be surprised at how modest the requirements really are. We're not talking about some top-of-the-line server here, just the guts of a decent gaming PC from a few years back. So here's the most crucial piece of the puzzle. The GPU's VRAM. You really want at least 8 gigabytes. An old Pascal-era card, something like a GTX 1070 is totally fine. For the CPU, something moderate like an i7-6700K works great. Then you'll want 16 gigs of RAM, maybe more if you have it, and about 200 gigs of fast SSD storage. That'll be enough for your operating system and a few different AI models.
Okay, before you even think about installing an operating system, you have to dive into your motherboard's BIOS. Now, this right here is the #1 spot where people get stuck. You have got to enable virtualization technology, specifically a setting called IOMU. On Intel systems, it's usually called VTD. On AMD, you're looking for settings called SVM and IOMU. Just think of it like this. Flipping these switches creates a direct, super fast highway from your physical graphics card to the virtual machine your AI is going to live in. Without it, the whole thing grinds to a halt. Okay, with all that prep work out of the way, it is time for the fun part. Actually building our AI server. We're going to use Proxmox as our foundation. It's this free, really powerful tool called a hypervisor, and it's absolutely perfect for managing a bunch of virtual machines on one computer, which is exactly what we need for this project. The whole build process really boils down to just 4 steps. First, we'll spin up a new virtual machine and get a Ubuntu server on there. Second, we do that all-important GPU pass-through, basically handing the graphics card over to our new VM. Third, we install a program called Llama. This is the magic piece that makes downloading and running AI models ridiculously simple. And finally, we'll use Docker to launch a nice, clean web interface so we can use our AI from any device on our network. And here is a quick but super important pro tip. Once you're inside your Ubuntu VM, just run the command NVIDIA-SMI. If you see a little table pop up with your GPU stats, congratulations, the pass-through worked. That's your green light. If it fails, though, you got to go back and double-check those Proxmox and BIOS settings.
Now for the really cool part. Getting your first AI model up and running with Llama is this easy. You just type Llama run and then the name of the model. In this case, we're using Mistral, which is a fantastic, lightweight model that runs really well on older hardware. Llama literally does all the heavy lifting for you. Okay, running the AI in a terminal is neat, but let's be honest, a web interface is way more useful. We can get one going super easily with Docker. This little bit of text here is the config file. All it does is create a service for something called OpenWebUI. The most important line here is extra hosts. Think of it as giving the web UI a map so it knows exactly how to talk to the Llama AI engine that's running back on the main virtual machine.
And with that Docker container fired up, you're done. Seriously. Just open a web browser on your phone, your laptop, whatever, go to your virtual machine's IP address on port 3000, and there it is, your brand new, totally private AI assistant.
So we built it. Great. But is it actually, useful? This is where the whole project really starts to shine, where it stops being just a tech demo and becomes an incredibly powerful tool you can use every single day. Okay, so imagine this. You're setting everything up, and suddenly your system spits out this wall of text. It's a real-world error, a DMMR firmware bug that's actually related to those virtualization settings we just talked about. I mean, for most of us, seeing something like this is just an instant nope. It looks like complete gibberish.
Seriously, where would you even begin? For most people, the next step is that frustrating dance of copying and pasting this thing into a search engine, clicking through dozens of ancient forum posts, and just praying you find someone with the exact same problem. It can take hours.
But now, with your local AI, you just paste in that whole ugly error log, and in seconds, it just cuts right through the noise and gives you a clear, actionable plan. It correctly IDs the DMAR error, it connects it directly to the IOMU and VTD settings we configured, and it gives you 3 concrete things to try. It turns hours of frustrating internet sleuthing into a 10-second solution. And that's really the key difference here. Other home lab projects like a network-attached storage, a NAS, are useful, sure, but they tend to be set it and forget it. This local LLM becomes an active, daily partner for troubleshooting code, summarizing articles, solving problems. It's a tool you'll actually interact with all the time. So there you have it. That old gaming PC isn't a dust collector anymore. It's a powerful, private, digital assistant that works only for you. So the real question isn't whether you should build one. It's with this new tool at your fingertips, what problem are you going to solve first?